We've completed the highlights section. The next section will contain a feature article that will be laid out differently depending on the screen size. Along the way, you'll see how to move elements within a page using the DOM panel. I'm going to begin by resizing the document window to the size of a small device. So click the Visual Media Queries bar just to the right of 650 pixels. And then to make it easier to work in the DOM panel, I'm going to expand the panel group on the right. To add a new row, we need to select the row after which it's going to be inserted. So that's the section element with the ID of highlights. Select that. And then rather than use grid row with column in the insert panel, I'm going to scroll down in live view. And at the bottom right of this selected row are two icons. The one on the left duplicates the row with everything inside it. The one on the right simply adds a new row. So just click that one on the right, and it has added that new row. And the advantage of using this icon on the right, Add New Row, is that it uses the same HTML element as the selected row. Consequently, the new row also uses an HTML5 section element rather than a div, and that makes it easier to recognize in the DOM panel, as well as being semantically more correct. And using this Add New Row button always adds two equally sized columns inside. We'll deal with the columns in a moment. First, I want to add an ID to the new row that we've created. So click that plus button, and the ID will be #feature. Then press Enter or Return, and we get this little pop-up. Select a source, Yosemite.css, that's fine. We don't need to select a media query because we want to use this globally. So then just scroll down and click inside the first column, and that selects the column. It's got the class colSM6, so it goes half the width on a small device. I want it to go the full width, so just grab that resize column handle and drag to the right, and then scroll down. The second one, I also want that one to go the full width, drag to the right. And then because we're inside a column, these icons add columns rather than rows. So just click Add New Column once. This third column, I don't want it to span the full width, so grab Resize Column and drag in the width of two columns. And then let's offset it by dragging the Offset column handle one column to the right. Now, to make sure that I've got another column which is exactly the same, instead of Add New Column, I'm going to Duplicate Column. Click that. And what it has done is it's not only made it the same width, it has also made it the same offset. So that's great. We now need to add the content to the columns that we've just created. In the exercise files for this video is a new folder. So let's just open the Files panel. And there it is, the content folder. It contains two files. One is a Microsoft Word document, feature.docx. The other one is for the benefit of people who don't have access to Microsoft Word. It's a rich text format file which contains the same text. I've got Word installed, so I'm going to double-click that. And I just want to select the heading. Make sure we get that little bit of extra space after the heading. If we do that, Dreamweaver will recognize that it's been styled as a heading. So just copy that, go back to Dreamweaver, and then click inside the first column, and then paste. Now, it might be difficult to see on the screen here, but what has happened is that Dreamweaver has not pasted it inside that column that was selected, but as a sibling element, and we can confirm that in the DOM panel. Here is the section, the row, then the div, which is the first column, and the H2 is at the same level. To nest it inside, select the H2 and then drag it on top of the div. Once you're on top of the div label, release the mouse button, and it nests it neatly inside. You can see that it's just indented slightly there. So that's how you move things using the DOM panel. Then select the second column. Inside there, I want to add a responsive image. So to the Insert panel, responsive image. This time, instead of default, I want to have rounded corners, very subtle rounded corners. So select rounded corner from that little drop-down menu, and it needs to be nested inside. So select Nest from the Position Assist dialog. It puts in that placeholder image. We want to change that. So open the Quick Property Inspector and click Browse for File alongside Source. Make sure that we're in the correct site root, then the Images folder, and it's this image here, tunnel_view, that we want. Click OK, and then instead of placeholder image as the alternate text, we need tunnel view. If you forget to select rounded corner in the Insert panel, down at the bottom of this Quick Property Inspector are these three icons for Clip to Shape, and this one here is Apply Image Rounded Class. The rounded corners are very subtle. They're quite difficult to see when the image is still selected, but it's quite a nice little effect. What we need to do now is to add that extra text. So let's go back to the text document. Just select the first paragraph, copy it, go back to Dreamweaver, and then we need to scroll down and select the first of those indented columns and then paste. And it's easier to see this time because we're indented. What has happened is that instead of inserting the paragraph inside the column that was selected, it's been added as a sibling element. So we need to do the same thing again in the DOM panel. There is the image, there is the next column, the div, there is the paragraph that we've just pasted in. Select that, drag it and drop it on top of the div, and it's now nested correctly inside. If we just scroll down, we can confirm that. So we need to go back to the text document again, and then just copy that, go back to Dreamweaver, select the last of the columns and paste. And this time, everything has ended up on the right-hand side. That's because these elements are being floated. So what we need to do is to select that paragraph and then just drop it on top of the div in the DOM panel, and that nests it correctly. So we've added all the content to the feature section. In the next video, we'll adjust the layout and add some styling.